Thank you, ma'am. And once again, inviting Shri Ashish Madhurao Mureji to be pleased joining us here on the stage. And to felicitate Shri R. Lakshmi Kanta Rao, the Executive Director, Reserve Bank of India. हमारी माननीय वित्त मंत्री, उनके साथ साथ सभी सम्मानित अतिथिगण का मंचासीन उनका हार्दिक स्वागत करते हुए और आभार व्यक्त करते हुए हमारे जॉइंट सेक्रेटरीज DFS, and now, ladies and gentlemen, to set the context and to present the larger perspective of the confluence, I would like to request Secretary DFS, Shri Sanjay Loya ji, for his address.
Honorable Finance Minister, Chairman SBI, Executive Director RBI, Additional Secretary, Heads of Public Sector Banks, Financial Institutions, distinguished experts and colleagues, I welcome you all to PSB Conference 2026. As we begin this 2 days of deliberations, it is useful to first take stock of the transformation of our public sector banks over the last decade. The progress made during this period is reflected in their scale, profitability, and asset quality. The improvement is visible across every major indicator. Between March 2015 and March 2026, aggregate business of PSBs more than doubled from rupees 128 lakh crore to about rupees 283 lakh crore. Deposits have increased from 72 lakh crore to 156 lakh crore, while advances rose from 56 lakh crore to 127 lakh crore. The net profit increased more than fourfold from 45,000 crore to a record 1.98 lakh crore in the financial year 25-26. The asset quality has also improved significantly. Gross NPAs, which had reached a peak of 14.6% in March 2018, declined to a record low of 1.93% in March 2026. While net NPAs have declined from 8% to 0.39% over the same period. Together, these improvements have strengthened PSB balance sheets and enhanced their capacity to support growth. The contribution of PSBs goes much beyond these numbers. With their scale and reach across rural, semi-urban and urban India, they remain the backbone of our economy. They have been at the forefront of financial inclusion, supporting agriculture, MSMEs and underserved sections, and have been champions of implementing government's flagship schemes at nationwide scale. Their contribution has been central to making growth more inclusive and equitable. The combination of commercial strength and developmental reach gives PSBs a distinctive place in India's financial system. As the economy expands, they will have to continue supporting broad-based growth while responding to increasingly diverse and sophisticated financing requirements. Against this backdrop, the next imperative is to sustain this momentum and leverage the financial strength achieved for quality business growth. Competition is also becoming sharper. Technology is reshaping business models, customer expectations are evolving, and new areas of economic activity are emerging rapidly. PSBs must therefore continue to strengthen their competitiveness both within the domestic financial landscape and against evolving global benchmarks. This will require the institutions to anticipate opportunities, deepen sectoral expertise, and continuously adapt their capabilities, products, and business models. Financial institutions also have an important role where specialized expertise and financing structures can complement the scale and reach of banks. It is against this backdrop of growth, competition, and evolving financial requirements that the 7 themes of this conference have been selected. They represent areas that are important for sustaining the growth of our institutions, responding to structural changes in the economy and capturing emerging opportunities. Deposit mobilization is fundamental to sustainable credit growth. As household savings preferences change, banks need to strengthen their deposit base through customer primacy, convenience, consistency in service, product innovation, and sustained customer relationships. Banking for youth is equally important as India's young and increasingly digital population will shape the future of savings, borrowings, investments, and financial services. It is our responsibility to facilitate reach of banking to our youth, both in terms of opening bank accounts, making loans available for educational purposes, and for starting new ventures. Supporting the investment cycle requires institutions to anticipate new financing opportunities and have the appraisal capabilities and financing structures to support them, including appropriate alternate sources of funding. Global capability centers similarly represent an emerging ecosystem of opportunities across infrastructure, ancillary businesses, and employment. We have to examine how banks can facilitate growth of GCCs in the country. GCCs are being set up by global corporations to take advantage of what India offers in terms of affordable, vast technical manpower. These GCCs are now an important source of employment for our educated youth. In agriculture and horticulture value chain infrastructure, the opportunity is to move beyond conventional production credit towards financing, storage, cold chains, processing, logistics, packaging, and marketing linkages, including through farmer-producer organizations. Priority sector lending should continue to fulfill its developmental purpose while improving the flow and quality of credit through technology, partnerships, and innovative models. PSBs should attempt to fulfill their PSL targets with all sincerity. Reimagining the credit card business reflects another area where customer behavior, technology, and competition are changing rapidly. PSBs need to examine how they can build stronger propositions in this business while maintaining responsible underwriting, customer protection, and appropriate risk controls. Banks cannot grow their customer base and CASA deposits without offering a strong credit card facility. The word Confluence captures the approach we have sought to adopt. By bringing together PSBs, financial institutions, government, and external experts, we seek to combine institutional experience with specialized perspectives and expertise and move from discussion to ideation and to actionable solutions. For each theme, deliberations will be led by the designated chair and co-chair with a combination of PSBs and financial institutions contributing their experience and expertise. External speakers will complement these perspectives, followed by interactive Q&A sessions. I would encourage the thematic groups to go beyond presenting existing initiatives. They should identify opportunities and challenges, draw lessons from institutional experience, and consider what can be strengthened or done differently. Successful practices should be examined for adaptation or scaling across institutions. 4 themes will be taken up today and remaining 3 tomorrow. Following these deliberations, the focus will shift to presenting clear, actionable strategies and innovative solutions. Some may be taken forward by individual institutions, some through collaborations, while others may require policy or regulatory considerations. The value of this conference will ultimately lie in the quality, practicality, and implementability of the ideas that emerge. The endeavor should be to arrive at a focused set of solutions that can be meaningfully taken forward beyond these 2 days. Honorable Finance Minister had asked us to hold this conclave and has selected the themes which are very relevant for the banks and the country's economy. I thank Madam for sparing time today and tomorrow when the recommendations on each of the themes will be presented. We will receive valuable guidance from her on all these themes. I look forward to productive deliberations and concrete outcomes from this conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for very comprehensively setting the tone and the context of the confluence and further highlighting the very significance of this confluence. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we seek to be led and guided by our Honorable Finance Minister, ma'am, may I request Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji to please address the congregation.
Secretary, Department of Financial Services, Joint Secretary, CMD of State Bank of India, and Sri Lakshmikanta Rao from the RBI, CMDs of all the public sector banks, and also the financial institutions which have come here to join in this conclave. And as I was seated there, the chairman of the State Bank of India reminded me that this probably would be one of the biggest conclave of bank heads. So the importance in terms of presence itself underlines the importance of this gathering. Big it is, I agree, but I must credit the Department of Financial Services for having worked on the 7 different topics which are very critical for us to discuss, and discuss among yourselves, generate some kind of a consensus, so that that shall be the template on which all of us can take banking sector forward, financial inclusion forward, credit forward, and so on. Yes, at some point in time there was a discussion among all of us about what could be the content and the topics on which thinking heads from the banking leadership can speak. But briefly, as I was seated there, I have seen the materials, the 7 different topics on which you are likely to speak among yourselves, but for each one of it, and that is why I repeat this point. For the first time, I would think DFS, at least as long as I have been here, the DFS has actually spent time looking into the details of what each of these 7 topics should be focusing on. So the content material for each of them is well researched, bringing in the best practices from around the globe, and also highlighting the need that we have to recognize and discuss and take things forward. Particularly the one document which I was looking into was on the youth. It classifies our youth nicely into different categories, both from the college experiences, age groups which are going to be in college, and otherwise the youth in different age, highlighting the fact 29% of India's population is between 15 and 29 years. So if you see the nuggets which come out of these documents, and I understand all these 7 documents have been in advance shared with all of you all, with the expectation that you would spend some time on each one of them before you attend this meet, and therefore be able to contribute from your point of view the critical thoughts for each one of them, so that this 2-day meet would conclude giving us a clear set of workable ideas. Workable because you have given the ideas, you are the ones who are going to take it forward later on. But this comes at a time when the intensive discussions of today and tomorrow comes at a time we expect the announcement on the high-powered committee to look into banking for Vikasit Bharat. Sooner the committee will be announced, and the material that you are producing from 2 days discussion on the basis of a well-researched set of documents which have been shared with you in advance will hopefully provide that substantive meat for the committee to also look at. So the committee would probably have that material before them even as they deliberate, and even as they deliberate to give us their thoughts and also the recommendations which will help us to clearly understand where the committee wants India to go towards Vikasit Bharat, and in that the role of banks. So I think 2 days absolutely valuable. No one is going to have any FOMO, everyone is here. So it is your output that I am keenly looking forward to, because once the committee gives its input, it's for us to rapidly move in that direction, understanding that the Vikasit Bharat 2047 is actually not too far away. We are in 26. So less than or short of 20 years is what we have before us. There couldn't have been a better time to talk about banking for Vikasit Bharat, especially for the grind that all of you all have gone through. Come out of it with all the recognition of difficulties and coming out towards the route of reform. Your NPAs are at the lowest ever Indian bankings have seen, and therefore there cannot be a better position of strength with which you can take on reforms. You're actually having these 2-day confluence. The ideas are going to be from the field, from the executioners as it were. And once the committee, as I said, goes through all this and forms its view and recommendations, we'll be just ready to press the button or pedal to rev up the Indian economy. So since you're going to have me come tomorrow also, post your discussions with a complete brief that I'll hear in front of you, before you, about each of the 7 topics on which you have deliberated. I will stop my opening statement at this stage. Instead of repeating all the 7 categories on which you are going to be discussing, you've got the documents, you've done your work, so I will be keen to hear what comes out of it tomorrow. So thank you very much, and I think this will be one of the best meets where you're looking for your future action. All the top leadership is here. You have to set the tone for India's Vikasit Bharat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your progressive guidance and dynamic leadership to the Confluence, which has definitely provided a very strong foundation and direction to the conversations that will follow in these 2 days. Thank you, ma'am. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude the inaugural session. May I request the dignitaries for a group photograph, and then we close the session. Once again, in heartfelt gratitude and thanks to the Honorable Finance Minister, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll break for 10 minutes, tea and coffee, and it's being served in the Roshanara Hall, just the adjacent hall.